castle mission was a little different from the other 2 times, so there's no harm in skipping it. The only difference is that Nobunaga didn't die when we beat him at the top this time, which means he's going to be the main villain for the actual final mission of this campaign. You'd think that the story would have tried to do something with either Kenshin or Nobunaga, since they're supposed to be our 2 biggest obstacles. But then by this point, I've given up on this game's storytelling abilities. Of course, that raises the question of why I'm still here, when I dropped games with stronger storytelling than this, like Prince of Persia. What, you're gonna act like Kenshin is a member of your clan that easily? I'm sorry, but even as short as these campaigns are, that is just way too sudden. You mean to tell me he landed a headshot from outside even bow range? Sure, someone who was familiar enough with a particular rifle could do some pretty accurate shots back in the day, but I severely doubt that a musket had that kind of range. Still, I like the fact that Shingen didn't even flinch as the bullet hit him right on the mask. If our army knows no enemy, then why are we in the middle of a fight where we're surrounded from every side? Again, being a clever general is supposed to be Shingen's defining character trait, outmaneuvering his foes and all that. I know that being surrounded means the enemy spread their own troops out to encircle us, but it's not like we're going to try to escape by smashing one piece of the enemy army. Ugh. And somehow, we have to avoid losing officers, which means wiping out absolutely every enemy officer. So if anything, we're brute forcing things here more than we did back in the Kenshin campaign, when Kenshin is supposed to be the bigger brute between the 2. Well, I'm certainly not getting the sense that Shingen is cherishing the fact that he's getting to live longer than he did in history. Not that these alternate history missions seem to give a damn how much time passes between missions. Has it even been a year since the battle against the Tokugawa? And why is it this campaign decided to skip that battle when it was a thing in both the Yukimura and Hanzo campaigns? You'd think that Shingen trouncing the future shogun would have been put into his campaign, if only because that was a major feather in his cap, even if he didn't know it at the time. Think we should go help Kenshin at the north now, if only because it looks like he's getting double-teamed. Seems I'm not the only one to think that Kenshin's position is the next critical point. Shouldn't be too tough to keep Hideyoshi from getting that far when we're right in the neighborhood. Oh, son of a bitch. I don't think we can pull off both those objectives at once. All I'm witnessing is, once again, our army can't seem to get things done without the player character stepping in to do most of the work for them. And an inexplicable moment where the text box was covered by something else. Hopefully that won't happen when something actually critical is being said. It's more than a little difficult to use momentum when we're trying to hold our ground, and it is especially rough when we have to stop a man who's tearing through our troops and heading towards our main camp. Well, there is one guy, but I don't think you know him that well. He's Shingen, leader of the Takeda clan. I know, a little awkward to think that one of the oldest guys on the battlefield is the only man fit enough to handle someone like Keiji, but yeah, that's where we go. Well, at least I misremembered our fail condition. That makes things a lot easier than I was expecting. We were looking for you as well, but the fog made it a bit of a pain to find you. Indeed, especially since his actual scheduled death has been postponed for an indeterminate amount of time. If anything, you'd have better luck destroying the rest of our army. Not that we can see that army, or have any idea how much ground we've kept or lost, with the sheer lack of strategy and tactics that this supposedly brilliant bastard has displayed so far. You know, that might have actually felt a little heartwarming if we weren't being bounced around all over the place like a ping-pong ball. I can't even find it in me to feel concerned with the beatdown Keiji just gave us because of the healing item and temporary defense boost we just picked up. It's almost unfair for the bastard, but then it's not like it's ever all that fair for our enemies as a whole in this game. The player character is just so damn overpowered, it's impossible to feel tense around him. Sure, we did some leveling up, hell, more of it than we probably were intended to, for this mission, because I had a hard time just getting here. But overall, this isn't much different than the difficulty in the average fight in this game. Hell, you have a harder time running to the right place to get an objective done than fighting anyone. Sure, Keiji right now has the durability to keep going against us for a while, even though we've got the strongest weapon Shingen can hold. And he's gotten some pretty good hits in. But the healing items and power-ups are coming so frequently that it's hard to feel tense, or even all that tempted to block his blows. While the blocking button sees more use than the ranged attack button in this game, that's got more to do with the fact that it's the only way we can control the camera around here than its intended use in a fight. And it's not even like I'm playing on the easiest difficulty in the game. And here I was, hoping once the fog cleared, either Shingen or Nobunaga would reveal that they had something clever in their pocket. Nope. This battle is just a mindless slugfest. If anything, I'd say that the battle against Kenshin in the other road to a final mission in this campaign had more thought put into it. Think we'll help with the west side first, if only because Nobunaga is not in that direction. Ish. I feel more like I'm trying to buy time for one or both of these extraordinary generals on the field right now to do something genuinely noteworthy, instead of just actually trying to accomplish the mission. How many times have we brought down Nobunaga's son in this game? And why do I even care when the series hasn't made him anything more than a minor background character at best in over 4 games and multiple spin-offs? Right, of course the guy on the east was defeated just as we were getting over there. The guy we just helped died as we moved away. And Shingen doesn't seem to give a damn at all about how many of his officers have fallen in this battle. Not that Shingen caring about his men has been a running theme for this campaign as a whole, but still, considering the words he said at the start of this mission, you'd think he'd comment on all the people he's lost so far. I swear, you didn't talk about glory much, if at all, in your own campaign. Why are you suddenly obsessed with it now? I don't know who I'm more disappointed in this campaign. Shingen himself or Nobunaga? Sure, there's been some good lines scattered through this whole thing, but the storytelling has felt pretty weak even by this game's standards. And the missions felt rather lazily done, as if they didn't expect players to even bother with this character for some reason. Much less that we go through the effort to try for the true ending, where they put the more detailed cutscene in. You should be bowing simply because he's your lord, but given how little commanding he's done, I'm not that surprised. Charging only ever seems like a decent move when there's more than one officer for us to deal with at once. Of course, I'm more confused at the fact that it sometimes means the enemy's going to do a special attack, and sometimes it's just a chance for them to heal. Can never tell which they're gonna do, but either way, it did Nobunaga no favors, and we get a nice healing item to make things even more hopeless for the poor bastard. And that does it. We are finally done working with Shingen. That took way more time than it should have. Hold on. This isn't the kind of cutscene I was expecting. Oh, please don't tell me that Shingen didn't get a detailed cutscene at all. I could have sworn everyone got one in this game. As suicides go, that was oddly hard for me to swallow. Both the way he used his sword to do so and his lack of reasoning for doing it. Again, last time I checked, Japan didn't really have a heaven and hell. There was just one afterlife on the other side. Or at least that's the case in Shinto. And since Buddhism lets you work your way out of their version of hell, that still wouldn't feel like an especially biting remark. Oh, maybe I'm just looking at it from the wrong angle. Ah, there we go. I was starting to get worried there. And why does Shingen give a damn about Nobunaga's opinion, especially after the guy he didn't know for that long killed himself because he's a sore loser? I'm not an expert on irrigation, so I can't really judge how effective this might be in the future. And while I'm sure the idea of these warriors putting down their weapons and working on something more constructive than combat is supposed to be heartwarming. It would have been nicer if we saw more than just the 2 Takeda officers and Kenshin helping the nameless peasants. Hell, at the very least, the version of Shingen from Sengoku Basara would have been getting his hands dirty with this work, not just watching it from a distance.